Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's only me again, and thank you very much for tuning in for another round of metal detecting. So if you watched last week's video, you'll have seen part one of me metal detecting a huge ploughed field which was once the site of a Spanish Armada beacon. In this video, we have come back for our second day in this field, and last week, guys, we found some absolutely fantastic artifacts which really take us back in touch with the people that were living here, working here, possibly even running up to the top of the hill to set the beacon off when the threat of Spanish invasion was at its peak. Today I am joined by Brian, so I've got a little bit of help today. We've got limited times on these fields before they actually put the seed in, so I want to try and get the most out of them. But yep, two guys in this field today for a full day, and hopefully we can get some more absolutely amazing artifacts for you guys to see as well. But of course that leads me to say thank you all very much for watching my videos, and of course if you do want to be notified every time a new video comes online, you just have to hit that subscribe button below. Nice and free, nice and easy. And of course if you want to help me out, help the channel grow, please do consider dropping me a thumbs up as well. But that's the talking out of the way. We're going to get loads of digging done today, and I will see all of you on the very first hole. So it's that time of the day where we have had our very first target in the field. And I've been pretty lucky because I've gone straight down onto a coin. So I'm just kind of giving it a bit of a clean now to see if I can get any detail from this coin at all. But there's not a lot to go on here, I'm going to be honest with you. It is quite crusty. It's quite difficult to tell how old this coin actually is, to be honest, because the shape of it could mean that it's a very, very, very old coin. And I'm talking kind of possibly even Roman. But then again, it could also be possibly a kind of Georgian coin or something like that. But it's in pretty bad condition, this one. It's got a nice green patina on there. I just can't get much detail from it. I would absolutely love to just see a little bit of writing, maybe to try and guess how old this coin was, but I'm pretty sure that not even that's going to happen, which is an absolute shame, because it would be nice to think that we've gone straight down onto an ancient Roman coin, but that could just be wishful thinking. But you've got to dream, you've got to dream. But it's a coin nonetheless, and it's only our first target. We've only been here for 5 or 10 minutes, so let's keep pushing on. Okay, so somewhere down here we have got a really nice sweet little 82 to 83 on the VDI, and I don't think it's very deep, so I'm just going to get my pinpointer and see if we can get it on the surface. So it says it's around here somewhere. Here we go. So this to me actually looks like another pot mend with a piece of pot still attached to the mend. And if you remember in last week's video, we actually found another one of these, albeit a little bit smaller, but it's essentially a blob of lead that they just sort of melted and then drained it into the pot where the crack was, and this is the pot piece here, and essentially it would just seal it, and it meant that they could keep using the pot on and on until obviously it completely broke. So yeah, we've just gone and found another pot mend. Not too bad, but let's keep pushing on. Hopefully the sun's going to come out in a minute, and that hopefully will warm things up a little bit, but let's do some metal detecting. Just had a really interesting little find come out of the ground here, and it was very, very close to the surface. And at first I actually saw it lying there and I thought, that's just a nail. That should definitely not be giving me a really nice high tone like it was. But on closer inspections, turns out that this, although looks like a nail, is actually made of bronze, which is actually quite interesting because I can't imagine that many kind of nails, or particularly this type of shape nail, would be made out of bronze, but I'm sure it is, isn't it? It most certainly is. It's kind of got this flat bit at the top here where it's been hammered into something, and then the spiky bit here as well. What an interesting little thing. It's certainly unusual. I can't see any sort of decoration on it or anything like that. It genuinely does look a little bit like a kind of nail that you would just punch into something. Could have been decorative, maybe off of a sort of chest or a piece of furniture or something like that. But it's quite an interesting little find. I'm quite happy with that. It could obviously lead to a lot more of these being around. What do you guys think of this? Do you think this is a nail? What do you think this might have been used for? It's quite chunky, isn't it? This would have taken some hammering into something because how thick the diameter is of the actual shaft there. So, really interestingly, the farmer's just come into the field and it looks like he's rolling it, which is fantastic because honestly, once this field gets rolled, squashed down and compact, it is going to produce so many more awesome finds. So hopefully he's not going to take too long to do this field, and hopefully he's going to do the one next door as well, which means today is going to be absolutely brilliant. Can't wait for that. So yeah, a nice bronze nail. Okay, so we've had another really interesting little find down here. Again, not very deep at all. That is why I absolutely love ploughed fields, because everything is just pretty much lying on the top, and it could be 100 years old, it could be 1,000 years old, but the plough is just ripping it up from the bottom, flipping it up and sticking it on the top for us to find. But down here, I've just gone and found a little lead item. But it's quite an unusual little lead item. It's got a really nice pattern on it, and it's completely flat on one side. So initially when I saw it, I thought that this could possibly be a bag seal, but there was definitely no trace of anything kind of sealy about it. It's just one whole piece, and it's just got this really nice kind of, this nice sort of pattern. It's almost like a kind of flowery type pattern on the top. So there's a couple of things that this could be. The first one is that it could be a lead button. Now, you don't find lead buttons very often, or if you do, they're quite hard to distinguish between a button or just a random blob of lead, because a lot of the time the lead shank on the back gets completely broken off and you don't see it. But it also could be a little gaming piece as well. These are quite common, especially in the sort of medieval period, and a really good way to tell a gaming piece is that generally on one side it will just be completely flat and completely blank, and then they'll decorate the other side, and that is a good indication to what this might be. And I'm leaning towards it being a gaming piece rather than a button, but of course I don't know that for sure, and it's very unlikely I'll ever get a confirmation as to what this actually is as well. So I'm going to put this to you guys. What do you think it is? Is it just a random blob of lead? Is it a little gaming piece? Let me know in the comments below. What an interesting buckle we have just gone and found down here. Now this signal was absolutely booming, and it was only really just underneath the surface of this ploughed soil. And we've just gone and found an absolutely gorgeous copper alloy swing and lock buckle. Now it's very difficult to kind of date this one, but I probably would say this was maybe the sort of Georgian period, something like that. And the idea was that it had this swing latch using these two pins at the top and the bottom, and the strap would pass through. And just by having the tension on the strap, this clever little buckle was able to lock itself into position. And I've never actually found one before, although I have seen these, but I'm not really too sure what they're from. I don't know whether they're from horses or, you know, some sort of army regimental use maybe. But it's pretty cool. Absolutely love finding stuff like this, especially as it's my first ever one. So I've never ever found anything like it before. But yeah, what do you guys think? What a cool little swing buckle. Okay, so not too far on from that other little find, just had a really interesting little copper alloy thing, which in all intents and purposes to me looks like a coin, but it's a very, very thin coin with some very strange markings on it. So I'm not sure this is your stereotypical kind of Georgian coin or anything like that. I'm secretly hoping this might be a little jetton, to be honest with you, but it's not in the best of conditions. So I'd be very, very lucky to get anything from this, but my initial thoughts is that this is definitely a little jetton. What do you guys think? It's really interesting, isn't it? If it is a jetton, there's a good chance that this dates to the beacon up here as well, because these were very common things around the 1500s, and obviously a lot earlier than that as well. So yeah, I'm going to hazard a guess, bearing in mind what I can see on it, which is very, very little, that we have actually gone and found ourselves a nice little jetton. Awesome. So it's about midday and the sun has come out and it's turned into an absolutely glorious day. It's a little bit humid, but hey, I am not going to complain. It's certainly better than it was yesterday where it was raining on and off. However, we've just gone and found a little lead find, and this is quite an interesting little find. So for the life of me, it looks like a lead shoe, but obviously it's not a real life kind of to scale shoe. It's a very sort of small miniature type shoe. And the shoe reminds me a little bit of a kind of very typical medieval knight's type shoe with that sort of pointy bit on the top there. And you can actually almost see where it once attached to a leg of some kind, because it actually has a copper alloy kind of stake which goes into the bottom bit here where the ankle would be. And it's such an unusual little find. I have never ever found anything like this, but it's obviously some type of lead statuette, and it's obviously the foot, isn't it? And we've just gone and found it in this ploughed field, and this has to predate the beacon site. It has to be possibly medieval, just judging by the sort of style of the actual foot itself. But what a really cool little find. Absolutely love that. I know it's just lead, but it's obviously got a really cool story to tell, a lot of historical significance. Yeah, awesome. Just pulled something absolutely amazing out of the ground, and yeah, it's a nice pleasant surprise to find something like this, that's for sure. Absolutely glorious little thing. It's silver, it's very flat, and of course we've just gone and found a hammered coin. Awesome. So it's not a complete hammered coin, unfortunately, but it is a very, very thin hammered coin. And what I can tell from it so far is that it looks like possibly one of the Edwards. So maybe kind of Edward the First, maybe second or third. It's very difficult to tell, but it has a long cross on the front with 3 pellets in each quadrant, and it's very black, even though it is silver, because it's been in the ground for so long, so it's quite tarnished. But we have just gone and found a little coin which probably dates back to the late 1200s, which is a really significant little find. I have been in this field before a few times, and I have actually found another one very similar to this in this field before, but obviously that was several years ago, and I would be honestly really happy just to find things from the Elizabethan period, which of course the beacon up here dates to, but to find little silver hammered coins that are this old is a true blessing. This thing is about 800 years old, can you believe? And it was probably lost in this field when it was farmed all those years ago. It looks like the plough has taken that little bit off the top, unfortunately, but I'm not going to moan about that, guys. That is an awesome little silver hammered coin. What a fantastic day this is turning out to be. And I just want to say that the farmer has now gone and rolled a majority of this field, and it's just bought the field alive. So yeah, it's almost worth kind of going over the bits that I did before that weren't rolled, just to see what I would get more out of, but I don't think we're going to have enough time to do that, unfortunately. Awesome silver hammer coin. Sometimes when you're metal detecting in a field, you come across the most random of objects. And believe it or not, I've just pulled out of the ground a little pig. I know, right? I was never ever expecting it to be a pig, but what an amazing signal this thing was. It appears just on the offset that it's a little silver pig, which possibly once attached to like a charm or maybe a necklace or something like that, because it's got a little loop on the top. But it looks quite old. However, the actual pig itself is obviously hollow, so it's formed from two separate sides. So I don't think it's tremendously old. However, the pig itself does kind of look like an old pig. And what I mean by that is that it, you know, is quite a crude depiction of a pig. You know, it's not kind of got the stereotypical sort of modern day piggy look. So I wouldn't have said that this was a very modern little charm, but I really couldn't tell you how old this is. However, it's definitely made of silver for sure. The signal was absolutely spot on for silver, and of course you can see the silver coming through, but it's just such an unusual little thing. Such a random thing to find in a field, for sure. Yeah, I just don't know about this. Is it a modern drop? Is it something, you know, that was dropped a couple of 100 years ago? It's an odd one, isn't it? I was never ever expecting to, you know, find a small silver pig in a field, and today has just, yeah, blown my mind, really. You never know what you're going to get in this hobby. That's one of the reasons why I absolutely love it. You can go into fields that you think, there's not going to be anything in there, and you end up pulling out little things like silver pigs. Crazy. Guys, something has just come out of this field which I can't even believe I'm about to tell you this, what I've just found. It is an awesome, absolutely super special little find, and oh my god, I have never ever found one of these before, but I have seen a few of them in my time, mainly online, and I think we have just pulled out of the ground a tiny little bronze votive axe head. And I can't even believe I'm saying that. It's just mad, absolutely mad. It has got some really interesting little markings on it. I believe that this was possibly a pendant one, but it also could actually be just half of one. It could just be snapped completely in half. But guys, I am holding a votive axe head in my hand, and oh my God, that is incredible. I am so happy right now. This is a really significant little find. So if you don't know what votive axe heads are, these are ancient metallurgic items, and basically they would make these small kind of depictions of axes and things like that, and they were basically used to bury in the ground, and it was a kind of gift to the gods or a gift to the people that had once passed, so the ancestors. Sometimes they would put them in the ground maybe just to sort of bless the field for a good sort of yield of crop that year, but they're really rare. They don't come out the ground very often, and the one I'm holding in my hand right now is very possibly either a Roman one, but it could also go to possibly the Vikings. I mean, it could even be earlier than that. It could actually be a little Bronze Age votive axe head. I have seen them online. I haven't done enough research of them online, but honestly, this thing is super old, and I know it doesn't look anything great. It's not gold or silver or anything like that. I totally get it, but trust me, this thing potentially is thousands of years old, and it was placed in this field for a very specific reason, and to find it is a true blessing. So my gut instinct says this is very possibly a Bronze Age one. I would like it to be a Roman one, but they are quite rare. If this is a Bronze Age one, it's going to be really special, because I can pretty much guarantee the reason why this was placed in the field was something to do with this big hill. It may have held some sort of religious kind of in the landscape. We can see it. It might be a sort of a shrine almost, but there could also be burials around here as well. So it's a really cool little find, this, guys. I am so happy. This has seriously made my day. It's such an awesome little find, and try and get as much information about this as possible to put on the video, but potentially an awesome little votive axe head. Finds really don't get much better than this. Just had another really cool little find down here. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be a little votive axe head or anything like that. I still can't believe I found that, to be honest with you, but they are super rare, so you're not going to get those on every single field, every single day that you go out. Some people go a lifetime without finding one of those, by the way, so I am super chuffed with that. However, I've gone and found a little horse hanger, and I'm pretty sure that this is a little medieval horse hanger. But it's a really unusual one. At first, I thought this was a buckle, because of course it's got this kind of double D looped section. But then when I cleaned the mud off of it a little bit, I noticed that it had this loop on the top. So it must be a horse hanger. And these were the things that essentially used to hang from the straps of horses, and they were always super shiny. So it's difficult to see that now, because of course it's just been in the ground for hundreds of years, but this in its heyday would have been absolutely super shiny, and it was very much the fashion back then to decorate your horse with all of these lovely kind of fitments and fittings. And yeah, this is a little horse strap hanger, and it probably dates to around the 1400s, something like that. So it's a pretty cool little find, and this field is just turning up so many good things now. Way older than the beacon as well. So ever since this has been squashed and rolled, honestly, it's just changed the dynamic of the field entirely, and it's just started to ping up so many good signals. We've still got a few hours left, so fingers crossed, guys. We're just going to keep pushing on, getting some more bits, but nice little horse hanger. So it's getting on in the day a little bit now. I'd probably say it's about 3 o'clock or something. I haven't checked in a little while, to be honest, but it has gone a little bit cloudy, and we did just get a very light little shower of rain. Didn't get us too wet, so I'm not really too bothered about that, especially because I've just gone and found another hammered coin. And this one is in really good condition. It's actually a whole hammered coin. And it's an absolute little stunner. It is pretty much exactly the same coin as the one I found earlier, only it is pretty much complete, this one, which means that we've gone and found ourselves another little Edward I, very possibly Edward I, silver penny. And this one has escaped the plough, which is just fantastic. 2 hammered coins in one day. We have done so well today on finds. I mean, we have found silvers, we've found pretty much everything, but yeah, I am so chuffed to find another little hammered coin down here. What an absolutely brilliant little find. It's another very sort of late medieval coin. I'm talking 12, 1300, something like that. So 700 or 800 years old. We've just found it in the ground. Days don't get much better than this. Right, so we've just had a shout from Briski, who's been on the other side of the field, and apparently Bri has got something really, really good. So come on, mate, what have you found?
I need your keen eyesight, mate, because it's small. It looks like a small hammered. Come up sort of the same sort of number as a small hammered, but like I say, Mike, I need your eyes on it.
Yeah,
I've left it in situ.
It's a shiny coin for sure. It's a shiny, shiny coin. Let's have a look. Ooh. So there's 2 shields on it, isn't there? There's 2 little shields on it.
I can't make it out, mate.
Do you want to pick it out? It's your find. You pick it out, the
I'll
clod.
put my glasses on.
Get your glasses on.
They're not that great.
Let's show everyone that little...
I don't know if I'm going to be disappointed and just be a button.
Well, I think I know what it is just by saying that there's a couple of shields on it. So
right, it's got a hole straight through it. I still can't see. It's so small.
what are we thinking? Let's have a look.
You know, is that half penny size, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very light.
Imprint still there.
And it does have a hole in it, but it has 2 shields on that side there. It's 2 shields.
Right.
And one of the shields is got a cross through it. That's got to be a little Commonwealth penny, or a little Commonwealth halfpenny, I think, Bri.
Oh, that's awesome. Never found one of them.
That has got to be. They wouldn't. Nothing else would have.
I found a
those
bigger
shields
one
on.
before, but not one
Check
that size.
that out with a hole in it as well. So there you go, mate. So yeah, an interesting fact, right, is that it used to be good luck to hammer a coin to like your door or window frame.
Right.
And sometimes when you find hammered coins that have got holes like in the centre of them, they haven't just been used as jewellery, they've actually been nailed to something. Now I can't remember why specifically, but I know that it was some sort of like good luck charm or something like that. But I also know that sometimes they used to do it to hangman crosses.
Right.
They used to nail coins to those as well.
Really?
Yeah, and that to me looks like a tiny little Commonwealth penny, which would obviously date to the 1600s, that's been nailed to something at some stage, which means there could have been a little building in here, or possibly a hangman's cross up on the Beacon Hill.
Right.
A little warning to others to behave themselves in the presence of the Lord.
You think someone would steal it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But a really nice find, mate, well done.
Lovely, cheers, mate. I shall go and have another look down there.
Okay, so we are back with Brian, who has called me over and said that he's found another hammered coin already. So how many is that for you today?
2 1/3, I think.
Because you found a little slither of one, didn't you?
Little sliver, which you identified as Lizzie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the smallest one I've ever found, to be honest.
Absolutely amazing. That this field has just been so productive. It's been a pretty good day, isn't it?
It's been good, mate. Lots and lots of targets, a lot of it lead, but yeah, it's a good field.
So what's really interesting about this coin, I have just had a quick look at it. I don't think that it's a British coin because it's got some really interesting marks on it. Now, it's not in great condition because it looks, well, you said you found it on the top?
Literally on the top.
Yeah?
I didn't even dig.
It was just lying on the top?
Just on the top, look.
Yeah.
Literally,
so,
you know, pinpointed straight on it on the top.
When things are lying on the top, obviously they never ever are in good condition. But yeah, he's found a really, really nice little coin here. And what I can make out, bearing in mind there's very, very little detail on this coin, it actually looks like a possible Spanish coin. Now, I think these were known as reals. And it looks, because it's got like a reef on the front with like a tied reef, and I'm pretty sure this could be a little sort of Ferdinand Isabella type Spanish coin, and it's really nice. It's got a hole in it, so it was probably used as jewellery at some point. And what's really interesting about this coin is that we of course are on the site of a Spanish Armada beacon, and the very likelihood is that this coin will probably date to the 1500s. And if you think the people here were certainly not Spanish, but they were at war with Spain. So somebody had got hold of a Spanish coin, put a hole in it, and was obviously wearing it on a pendant as a necklace or something like that, whilst they were here defending the coastline against the Spanish. That is a cool story, isn't it?
That's crazy.
That is an absolutely cool story. I'm pretty sure it is a Spanish coin, although, there's not too much detail on it, but what an absolutely fantastic little find. Well done, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Awesome. So Brian was also just showing me something that you picked up earlier in the field as well. And you found a little sort of square nugget of lead.
It's like a dice sort of shaped.
And it looks like a dice, yeah. It's kind of flat on all sides. But what's really interesting is that on some of the sides, it's got letters. So for instance, I can see a P here.
Yeah. There's
a T here. And then I think there's something there, but I can't really see. It looks like an R or something like that. And I've never ever seen anything like this before in my life. So
I've never seen one.
Is this from a game or something? Do you think when they were here with, defending the coastline, were they playing games to help
like
kill the time?
Like a game they've made up themselves, maybe, or...
Yeah.
Just I've no clue.
Such a really cool little find, this. I do like it. Hopefully, guys, one of you will be able to help us out with an ID on this little random lead object. Be really nice to find out if it was a gaming piece, wouldn't it?
Could even be their initials on sentry duty and who's going to do nights, throw the dice.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that is actually a really, really cool idea.
You got the night shift.
Who's got the night shift, yeah. Who's got to set fire to the logs. But yeah, really cool finds. Well done, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Bet you're chuffed, aren't you?
Yeah, I was walking back to the car. I was going home. 2 hammered and a dice.
Always the way. Always the way. So after Brian's little mad flurry of silver hammer coinage that he's just gone and found, I went back to the line that I was detecting in the field and just had an absolutely booming signal. And guys, today is just getting absolutely better and better. This field has just been so super productive. I think it's probably one of my best days that I've had, and honestly I'm going to remember this for so long. That is the beauty of metal detecting. It just surprises you every single time, and we have just gone and found something super cool. So I'm pretty sure that what we found is a coin weight. So it's a copper alloy coin weight, but it's one of the square ones. And on the front, you can see that it had a circular ring dot all the way around the writing here. And it's got Roman numerals on the front, which is showing as 3 I's and 3 X's. And just above those Roman numerals is a dot and then an S. But what's really cool about this particular find is that if you turn it around and have a look at the other side, it has a shield. And I don't want to clean this up very much because it is made of copper alloy, so it needs a bit of a soak in deionized water for a little while, just so I don't take off any of the nice kind of patina. But I am excited to clean this up, and this shield on the back is most certainly, I mean, it could be Tudor for sure. It does look like the sort of Elizabethan shield and coat of arms, but it obviously could be a little bit later than that as well. So, you know, this could be kind of like into the 1600s. And I'm pretty sure that that means that it's a coin weight for 36 shillings. So why you would need a coin weight for 36 shillings, I don't know. I've got to imagine that there must be a beefier coin to weigh that. So maybe this was to weigh a gold coin in bullion to the equivalent of 36 shillings. But what an absolutely fantastic find. I've been saying that all day because honestly, it has been one of those days. I honestly don't want to leave this field, and there's probably only about an hour left really to go. And honestly, there's so much of it we haven't touched. And I really wish I could spend more time in here. But unfortunately, guys, we've got to work with the time that we've got. And I will certainly do my very best to get some more great finds out of this one for you to see. But a lush coin weight. So we are now at the end of our fantastic day's metal detecting. It's about 6:30 now, and I've been here since about 8:30 this morning. So it has been a long old day, but I wanted to try and get the absolute most out of this permission whilst I could, and also whilst it was kind of ploughed and rolled as well. And what a fantastic permission this has been. I think this is probably going to be up there with one of my top days out, with some absolutely amazing finds that span thousands of years possibly. This particular Spanish Armada beacon site has just, you know, really surprised me with the amount of things that have come out of the ground, but also the kind of history that's here as well. It's quite evident, isn't it, that obviously long before they used this hill as a Spanish Armada beacon, people were obviously here farming it and using it maybe for religious or ritual purposes as well. What an amazing place, such a privilege to detect this one. And I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it as well, because it has been an absolute joy to film. And to be fair, you know, I'm sure the finds alone have just been absolutely worth it. But of course, that leaves me to say thank you very much for watching my videos. If you really do enjoy them and you want to be notified every time I upload a new one, then don't forget, just hit that subscribe button below. It's nice and free, and it means that you'll get a notification when a new video comes out. And if you guys want to help me out, then obviously comment below, let me know what you think of the finds, and also drop me a thumbs up. That would mean an absolute ton. Thank you all again for watching. I am now off home, and I will see each and every one of you on the very next video.